Welcome to ITL Trainer Talk. Today we're speaking to Pete Bommarito of Bommarito Performance Systems. BPS has finished in the top 10 among all trainers and draft value points. Every year we've tracked it since 2010 and regularly trains the fastest players in Indianapolis. Pete has appeared on Adam Schefter's podcast, while Bommarito Performance Systems has been mentioned prominently in articles on the NFL Network, Yahoo Sports, Pro Football Talk, Sports Illustrated, and of course on Inside the League. Among players Pete has worked with are Vikings wide receiver Stephon Diggs, Panthers tight end Greg Olsen, Cowboys wide running back Zeke Elliott, and hundreds of others. Pete, welcome to ITL Trainer Talk. How you doing, man?
Thanks, Neil. How are you?
Doing great, doing great. Okay, so in October, you announced that BPS will be expanding and opening up a new training location. Can you tell us more about that and where it's going to be and how that's going to work?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, we still have our two facilities. One is in Fort Lauderdale and one is in Aventura, which is South Fort Lauderdale. The same standard facilities we've had for years. We're actually renewing our affiliation with Grassetti Performance up in Pittsburgh. So Grassetti Performance last year was powered by BPS for NFL draft prep, and we had great success there. So we decided to renew that, and we're rolling again up there this year. And also down in Houston, Texas, Dynamic Sports Training ran by Lee Fiocchi is now powered by BPS for NFL draft prep. I mean, we just felt that we needed a good presence in the Northeast. We needed a good presence down South. And because it worked so well with Grassetti last year and because of my long relationship with Lee, it was just a no-brainer.
Okay. And Lee is someone that you've trained and certified as a trainer. He knows all the BPS techniques and methods and what have you, correct?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, Lee was a guy that when he played college football, I was his strength coach. Then he came and worked for me for years. He ended up being my right-hand guy, my number 2 for years. And then right around that 2009 point, he moved to Texas for family issues, ended up starting DST, had a lot of great success and has really built it over the years. They're really prominently known for baseball. Lee is actually the California Angels head strength coach. And he's assembled a phenomenal team that definitely understands our methodology. I mean, Lee is a guy that I mentored for years. So we think it's going to be an easy transition of both Grassetti and DST to run the BPS methods for elite combine training.
Okay, excellent. Okay, sounds good. All right, Pete, what's the most important factor in speed training? You've done this for decades. You've worked with numerous players. What's the one thing a player has to do to improve his 40 time?
I mean, hands down, most importantly, and the most underrated aspects is joint alignment. Even if a player doesn't come in with an injury, college football is what it is. There's wear and tear. And people have to understand that's the biggest shock for players. When they come out of a season, they're used to having some time off and then getting into a general prep phase with their strength coach and then kind of ramping it up to peak for spring ball. But we don't have that kind of time. I mean, we have to get really high level specified training immediately if they want to peak at the combine at the end of February. So, getting them regenerated from the season and most importantly, getting the joints aligned properly so you have some substance in your training is key. And that's why we have a medical center inside of our facility. We have dozens of therapists dedicated to this. And guys here are getting up to, 5, 6, 7 treatments a day. I mean, we get them not just necessarily a feel-good massage, but hardcore specific neuromuscular therapy and direct manual work to regenerate the tissue, get the joint alignment right before the speed session. So I can read the medical report and alter the training according to that body at that moment in time. We're very good at it, and we run small groups. We do a lot of individual attention, and I think that's why we've had the success we've had. I mean, people have a genetic maximum for speed. We're just known to get them to reach their genetic potential in a very, very short period of time. And it all starts around that medical room and having speed coaches like myself and my staff that are actually trained in neuromuscular therapy to where we can read these reports and modify accordingly.
Okay, good points. Okay, and now for the really tough question. Again, you've been doing this for a long time. Who's the favorite player you've worked with in all your years in combine prep that maybe because of results, maybe because of the connection you made, maybe because you trained them coming up through high school, whatever? Who's the guy that has really just your favorite one?
I mean, I'm going to get in a lot of trouble by answering this. I'm going to have to name like 150 players. I mean, the first guy that always jumps to mind is going to be Frank Gore. I mean, just because of his story, when I met him 100 years ago, it seems like now, he was just coming out of University of Miami. All players at UM had never really left Miami. And back in the day, back in those days, they always stayed at school, trained at school, the whole thing. He was like the first guy to ever leave. And he just needed a different atmosphere. I mean, obviously the strength program at Miami is outstanding, but he just needed to change the scenery. He had a lot of injuries in college. It's very well documented. People were a little surprised he came out early. And some people didn't think he was going to play in the league. When people have injuries and you're a running back and all this kind of thing, there was so much against him adversity wise. But, my medically based training, I've been doing it for years. I was doing it back then. We've gotten better each year, but back then he just really took to and believed in training hard, but training smart, regenerating with as much discipline and intensity as you do training. And it obviously worked. He had a great pro day. He got drafted higher than expected. And he's followed the same type of specificity of training revolving around the medical entities his whole career. And look at the career he's had. And he keeps defying the naysayers every single year. Mm-hmm. So I think he's been a benchmark for so many players come in and say, I want that. Mm-hmm. I want to run fast. I want to get drafted higher. I want to get paid. But I want a blueprint for how I need to take care of my body when I get in the league. Mm-hmm. And I think that's the success we had with him just kind of trickled down. You look at, I mean, obviously we're great at all players, but there's no question that a lot of top running backs come here. It's a brutal position. They take a lot of hits, and you need to be able to do aggressive speed training at that position, but it's got to be very, very specific to your body at that moment in time every single day. And it takes a lot of discipline, but I love Frank because he's a good poster boy for us,
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Okay. Perfect, man. All right, people, tell people how they can learn a little bit more about PPS, maybe contact you, get more information about the training regimen, get more information about the combine prep routine for the 19 draft run-up.
Yeah, I mean, everything's on my website, bommaritoperformance.com. We've already reached out to many agents. A lot of people know who we are. We have the updated marketing materials that's got all 4 facilities available for draft prep. And obviously, how detailed I am. And I have the 12-page information booklet. I have the 30-minute video. We promote what we know and what we do, and that's results. I mean, people might have a better facility than us. People might have more first rounders than us, but I think it would be hard pressed for anybody to match our true results. If you look at my video, it literally shows player after player after player and what are the stats. I think that's the easiest thing to do is watch our video, look at our packet, and contact us. We have great slots available and everything. We have combine invite slots. We have non-combine invite slots. I think the programs definitely need to be distinctly different because they're peaking at different days. We have a lineman camp and we have a non-lineman camp. I mean, we separate everything into very small groups, and go to my website on that pro section. I mean, everything's available.
All right. Well, perfect, Pete. Well, we really appreciate you taking the time to talk to us. And Pete, just having worked with you for a long time, I appreciate the friendship and the patrons, man. Have a great day.
All right. Thank you.